Hello everyone. So I've been waiting for this day to discuss the paper with you all. I was just waiting for the exams to get over. Otherwise, instead of concentrating on your next papers, you would have been watching this video. So as per the messages that you have sent me, most of you have really written a good paper. I'm so happy about that. Now let's actually go through the questions and see what all were the questions and what should be the answers for the questions. So starting with the first one. He owes G the following debts as per the table given below. Amount. So basically the first two debts are time bound and the rest two are still yet to be paid. G makes a payment on 1st April. Okay, not yet to be paid, for some details have already arrived. G makes a payment on 1st April 2023 mentioned as below without any notice regarding how to appropriate. So when the debtor makes the payment, he may specify. Now, when we say specify, it can be expressed or implied. He may specify to the creditor which debt to set off, and if the creditor accepts the payment, the creditor must set off that debt only. And if the debtor does not specify anything, the creditor may at his discretion set off any debt, including a time-bound debt. A check of 12,500 and a check of 4,000. Now, if I look at these debts, no, there is a sum which is exactly the same as the amount of the check. So this is an implied intimation that I wanted to set off this debt only. So this check of 12,500 will be set off against this 12,500. The remaining 4,000 will be set off at the discretion of the creditor against any debt, including a time-bound debt. The state government of X, so basically X is a state. A state in the country is holding 48 lakh shares of Y Limited. So the paid up capital of Y Limited is 95 lakh. Y Limited directly holds, and X is holding how much? 48 lakh. Now, the paid up share capital of Y Limited is 9.5 crores, which is 95 lakh shares. To become a government company, your holding should be at least, that is not less than 51%. Here, the total share is 95 lakhs. I'm so sorry. And if I say 51% of 95 lakh, it is somewhere around 48.5 something. X is holding only 48 lakh. Is it at least 51%? No. So can we call it as a government company? No, it's not a government company. Y Limited directly holds 2,50,600 shares of Z Private Limited. And Z Private Limited has a share capital of 5 crores in the form of 5 lakh shares. So it has 5 lakh shares. Now, if Y Limited is holding 2,50,600 shares, which is more than half, that means Y Limited is the holding and Z Private Limited is the subsidiary. Correct? Now, while Z Private Limited claims the status of a subsidiary company, can it claim? Yes. As well as a government company. Since Y Limited is not a government company, even Z Private Limited cannot be a government company. So yes, it can be a subsidiary, but not a government. Discuss the various types of implied warranties. So basically, there are 4 types of implied warranties. The first one is warranty as to undisturbed or quiet possession. The second one is warranty as to freedom from encumbrances. The third one is warranty as to disclosure of dangerous nature of the goods. And the fourth one is warranty as to quality and fitness by usage of trade. Explain the terms trafficking relating to public offices and titles and stifling prosecution. So trafficking relating to public offices, this is basically sale of public office. So basically, when you pay money to acquire a public post or a public title or trafficking in public offices, that is considered as against public policy and hence it's void. Stifling prosecution. So when we talk about offences, there are 2 types of offences. One is where imprisonment is not mandatory, that is punishment by way of imprisonment is not mandatory, whereas the second one is where imprisonment is mandatory. If you have committed an offence where imprisonment is mandatory, but you settle it with a fine, that is, instead of imprisoning the person, you settle it with a fine. That is stifling prosecution, it's against public policy and hence it's void. Explain the provisions relating to the registration of changes in partners under the LLP. So basically, whenever a partner, his name or address, there is a change, within 15 days he should inform the LLP. The LLP will, within 30 days of the change, inform the registrar. If any person becomes a partner or ceases to be a partner of the LLP, the LLP shall within 30 days inform the registrar. If the partner has reasons to believe that the LLP may not inform, then they may themselves go and inform the registrar. Registrar will send a notice to the LLP, and if within 15 days there is no objection, they will register the change. Discuss the rule regarding a partner's implied authority to bind the firm for his acts. So implied authority means the authority of a partner to act in the name of the firm and to bind the firm by his acts. However, the act binds the firm only if it is done in the usual course of the business. If the act is not done in the usual course but the other partners ratify it, then the firm is liable. Discuss the situations where the partner has no implied authority to bind the firm. So there are 7 cases where he refers the case to the arbitrator, submitting the case to the arbitrator, when he relinquishes or compromises the liability of another person, where he admits any liability against the firm in a suit filed against the firm, withdraws any case filed on behalf of the firm, then opens a bank account in his own name on behalf of the firm, enters into a partnership on behalf of the firm, or transfers immovable property on behalf of the firm. A mobile phone was displayed in a shop with a price tag of 10,000. Price tag is an invitation to offer. Attached to the mobile display box. As the price displayed was very less as compared to the MRP of the mobile phone, why a customer rushed to the cash counter and asked the shopkeeper to receive the payment and tag the mobile phone. The shopkeeper refused to hand over the mobile phone to buy in consideration of the price indicated in the price tag attached to the phone. Why seeks your advice if he can sue? No, we cannot sue. It's just an invitation to offer. And obviously, if I open the shop, I will not say I will never put a wrong tag, but I do have a right to refuse. On 1st March 2023, P Ready-Made Dress Garments Shimla enters into a contract with J Ready-Made Garments Jaipur for the supply of different sizes of shirts, small, medium, and large. As per the terms of the contract, 300 pieces of each category, that is S at 900, M at 1000, and L at 1100 per piece has to be supplied on or before 31st May 2023. However, on 1st May 23, T Ready-Made Dress Garments Shimla informed J Ready-Made Garments Jaipur that the firm is not willing to supply the shirts at the above rate due to the rise of prices in the raw material cost. We had done this same example in the class also. In the meantime, prices for similar shirts have gone up in the market to the tune of 1,000, 1100 and 1200. Examine the rise. First of all, is rise in the price of raw materials considered as supervening impossibility? No. This is not supervening impossibility. So if it is not supervening impossibility, that means can I say if they refuse to sell, it's a breach of contract? Yes. Examine the rights of J Ready-Made Garments Jaipur in this regard. So in this regard, they can claim damages for the small shirts, 1000 minus 900, which is 100 rupees. For the medium shirts, again 100 rupees, 1100 minus 1000. Then for the large shirts, 1200 minus, that is again 100 rupees per shirt into 300 we can claim. Can an unpaid seller who has the possession of the goods exercise the rights of lien? If yes, mention such circumstances. When an unpaid seller, after having sold the goods, continues to be in possession of them and becomes unpaid. Why he becomes unpaid? Because there was no credit period but the buyer did not pay. Credit period expired but the buyer did not pay. Payment was made by a negotiable instrument which has been dishonored, or buyer has become insolvent. In all of these cases, he can exercise his right of lien, that is, keep the goods with himself. When does he lose the right of lien as per the provisions of the Sale of Goods Act? The right of lien is lost in any of the following cases: when he dispatches the goods to the carrier for delivery to the buyer, or where the buyer or his agent lawfully acquired the goods, or where he by estoppel or a waiver, or where the buyer tenders the payment. Tenders means he pays or offers to pay. State with reasons whether the following are partnership. X, Y, and Z agree to divide the profits equally, but the loss, if any, is to be borne by create a relationship of partnership between X and Y. No, I am going to spend all my money to print the book. You're getting half the, but ma'am, half the net profits is getting, that is just a royalty. So is this creating a partnership? No. Is Y liable to the partner, to the paper dealer for paper supplied to Y to print Y's book? No. Since he is not a partner, why will he be liable? A and B purchase a tea shop and incur additional expenses for purchasing utensils, etc., each contributing half of the total expense. The shop is leased out on daily rent. Well, I told you, rent is never partnership. So are they partners? No. X, a furniture dealer, delivered furniture to Y under an agreement of sale, whereby Y had to pay the price of the furniture in 3 installments. As per the terms of the agreement, the furniture will become the property of Y on the payment of the last installment. Now, seeing the last installment, you will be like, this is hire purchase. But it can be agreement to sell also, because agreement to sell is when the ownership is transferred on a future date after the fulfillment of certain conditions. Here the condition is payment of the last installment. Before Y has paid the last installment, he sold the furniture to Z. If it was a hire purchase, I cannot. But in case of an agreement to sell, can I? Yes. Here, they have not given that he has a right or the option to return the goods back. That is why it's not given that Y can return the goods back at any point in between. So since this option is not given, this is not hire purchase, it's an agreement to sell. Who purchased it in good faith? X bought a suit against Z for the recovery of the furniture. Can he recover? No. On the grounds that Z has no title to it. Discuss the case on the basis. So it's an agreement to sell. And in case of an agreement to sell, even if the buyer has the, so basically nemo that or non-habit, say by a person in possession before sale, it's absolutely valid. Against B's tender, R agrees to sell and deliver 1,000 kgs of tomatoes at rupees 100 per kg, which shall be delivered on 15 July. Due to the rise of price of tomatoes in the market, R delivered only 700 kgs of tomatoes on 15 July and agrees to deliver the balance quantity in the next month. B accepted 700 kgs of tomatoes sent by R later. Later, R failed to deliver the balance quantity, and so B refused to pay the price of 700 to R, as he had failed to fulfill the tender conditions stipulated in the contract of sale. Can we refuse to pay as per the provisions? Okay, we had the same kind of question in the material also for this. Well, in case of part delivery, the buyer may actually reject the goods. But when the buyer accepts the goods, then he must pay for the goods accepted. As far as the rest of the quantity is concerned, he can claim damages for that. But for the goods which have already been sold, the sale which has already been delivered, the contract is valid and you're liable to pay for that. Explain the kinds of share capital as per the Companies Act. Also explain when the capital shall be deemed to be preference capital. So what are the different types of share capital that we have? We have equity share and preference share. When will it be deemed to be preference? When any share capital gets two preferential rights, right? What are those two preferential rights? One is payment of dividend, the other is repayment in case of winding up. Then they become preference shares. Mere silence does not amount to fraud. Silence is not fraud. However, law mein kya hota hai? Locha. So there are two cases where silence is fraud, where it is the duty of the person keeping silent to speak. All the 5 cases: family, insurance, then prospectus, and then marriage, and in case of immovable property. And where silence equals to speech. State the rules that should be observed by the partners in settling the accounts of the firm after dissolution. So the order of payment is that we will first pay the outside liabilities, and after that we will pay the partners advance and partners capital, and then if there is any surplus, it will be distributed. In case of deficit, that is if the firm's assets are not sufficient to pay up to the for partners capital, then it's a deficit. And in case of deficit, the partners will contribute to the deficits in their profit sharing ratio. If a partner has both personal as well as partnership debt, his personal property will be first used to pay his personal debts and then his partnership debts. MTK Private Limited is a company registered under the Companies Act 2013 on 5th Jan 2021. The company has not started its business till now. On 7th April, as a notice has been arrived from ROC for non-filing of Form INC 20A. Identify under which, so reading this, you'll be like, oh my god, we've never read all these things. It is not which has no business operations, which has no significant accounting transactions for the past 2 years, or has not filed its financial statements or annual returns for the past 2 years. So with this, we are done with the discussion, and you have a little bit of time in between because you are just waiting for your results now. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself during this period of time. Do whatever you wanted to do for the past couple of months, but you were stuck because of the preparation for the exam. And thank